Well, it's Oopsy Daisy. I'm Ashley.
And it's your girl Vanessa.
Alright, so. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Well, I don't have anything to say, but you said you did, so.
Oh, yes, I do. So, update on my glasses, my blue light glasses. I sleep very well now.
Oh, okay, so now it's been like 2 weeks since the last
Mm-hmm.
podcast that we had this on, so.
Mm-hmm. I fall asleep easier. My eyes are not tired. So you have fake glasses.
Well, I don't use them that, like, often.
I use them all the time. I use electronics, like TV, phone, at home anyway, and computer. So I always wear them at home because I'm always looking at a screen. In another development, I have become Clay from Survivor. I am a fantasy hockey commissioner. I commission a league, so I am now Clay, and it terrifies me. I just thought you guys should know that.
Okay. Well, going back to the glasses, I always forget to put mine back on just because I'm like every 2 hours or so I'm always out with Barry walking him around and I'm not gonna walk around with those damn glasses on. It's just a inconvenience to keep putting it on and off and on and on and off. But it looks like we changed someone's life
Did we?
in the comic section.
Did we?
I thought I sent you the comment. Someone said they never knew about these glasses and they're gonna have to get some.
No, I did not. You never sent that to me. Is this on YouTube?
Yeah, I think it was on YouTube, yeah.
Now I gotta go and check. Ugh, horrible person not telling me that I've changed someone's life. How could you do that to me?
I swore I did.
And it's on Venturian candidate, I'm guessing?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Let's see. Da.
They're all melding together now.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, Lindsay. I got you, girl. I got you. You know what's the best news I've heard since
What?
the release of this podcast?
What?
That someone is gonna write a Survivor Dasey fanfic.
Oh, I know, and I hope they actually do.
I hope they do.
I feel like we get a bunch of people, or at least the same person, always like saying they want to do something for us or they're going to make something
Yeah.
after something we did on the podcast. But then like it never happens or I never see it.
Mm.
So it's like I would love to see any fanfic that is inspired by this, or someone was saying they wanted to make us a new logo. I would love that to see what you would make.
The theme song.
Oh, that's what we really need.
It-
Still
we
don't have
do.
one.
I'm not good enough for that. But anyway, someone's writing a story of the Survivor Daisy, and I just gotta be high key with you. High key, if Billie Jean is not in this story, it's considered a failure. It's considered a failure if Billie Jean is not in it.
Yes, Billie Jean is crucial, even more so than Casey and Derek.
It's true. This is the Billie Jean story, not a Casey and Derek story. Also, I had a hearing test at work, and I sent you a picture, and it looked like I was in a recording studio, and I was like about to drop the sickest beat of 2019.
Did you pass?
I did. I have perfect hearing.
Well, that's something.
I know you're jealous. It's okay.
Yes, I don't have really good hearing, so though I haven't had a test to really confirm it, but I mean, it's,
You should probably do that.
I just never know where to get one, and then
Google.
yeah, but I don't like going, so
This is your own fault then.
But my thing is that like even if I do have a very like obviously I have a hearing problem, but even if I like have a really bad one, like I can't do anything about it really.
Hearing aids.
Yeah, they cost a shit ton of money to get a good one.
Yeah, well, if you want to hear.
Apparently not
Hearing aids.
not that much.
Oh my. The struggle of no health care.
Exactly.
You'd get it in Canada.
So anyway, so this episode we are doing Lies My Brother Told Me. And Vanessa, you want to give us your summary?
Of course, this episode is all about lying. Lying about teeth being brushed, lying about dogs. And let's be real here. This episode is the episode where we see the manipulative Casey serial killer lying coming through. So, just letting you know that. And yeah, it's about that. Lies.
Lies, lies, lies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so this episode starts off in the kitchen with George asking Marty if she brushed her teeth. George shows her that the toothbrush was never like wet, therefore she couldn't have actually brushed her teeth when she said she did.
I did something similar when I was in the military. They're like, you have 5 minutes, clean, dress, and take a shower. And I didn't, like, a bunch of us didn't have time to do it. And the way you go, you have to set up your towel, like, on your locker or whatever. And they were like, "Did you shower?" And I was like, "Yep, totally, totally did it." And they touched my towel. And he's like, "Fucking stop lying." And I was like,
You just rinse it under there. You don't actually do
I
anything.
didn't think of that. Okay. I was in a rush. I didn't think of a good enough lie.
So Marty says it's magic, and George starts like laughing along with it because he thinks it's cute. And Nora comes in, and she prompts George to discipline Marty and that she shouldn't lie even about the small things.
It's true.
So Marty leaves to go brush her teeth, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And yeah, allegedly. And George is like, "Nora, it was just a little white lie. It's not that big of a deal." And Nora says it's a gateway lie.
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah. It's a gateway lie because if she thinks she can lie about, brushing her teeth and that she gets away with it, she's like, "Oh, well, then I can lie about this and that, about lying about her grades and things like, they just get more and more and more big."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "And soon she'll turn into Derek."
Yeah.
And this scares the living shit out of George. So he was like, "I'm gonna buckle down. No lying."
Don't you notice, like, in every fic that Marty does grow up and is literally Derek?
Yeah, basically.
Sometimes she's
Because
like,
as much as having Nora around helps,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they still don't pay attention.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Like every single episode, Nora is trying to get George to like discipline the kids.
And he never
You would
does.
think by now it's been like at least well over a year since they've like been together,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still the same shit.
Always.
And then we go to the blue screen, and Casey's all, "Call me a goody goody, but I never lie."
I don't think there's a person that's never lied in their life.
And she's like, "It hurts me, unlike some people." I wonder who she's referring to.
Edwin.
But again, she's going right back to Derek. But it's
No,
like,
sorry, it's Emily. She's referring to Emily, the two-faced bitch.
but she says she never lies. But in the last episode, the Manchurian Candidate, one, if she had lied or not to Derek about him getting in office, like,
Yeah.
so I guess she didn't lie and she just
No,
forgot.
she lied. 100%.
Or she's a really good liar to the point that even she doesn't know she lied.
That's the serial killer gene. She don't know what's happening now.
What's the actual truth, Casey? What's the actual truth?
She don't even know.
No, she doesn't. So Casey walks by Derek's room to find Edwin is in there. And Edwin is helping Derek with his science project. He's making it. And Casey's like, "Oh, Derek's so pathetic." Because, he's making Edwin make his project. But then she's like, "Wow, but this is actually impressive since the project isn't due until another week."
So responsible.
Right, and she says, "Wow, this must be the most responsible thing he's like ever done." So Derek then saunters in. He was like, "Thanks for the compliment." And then but then he's like, "But no, the project is due tomorrow." And Casey obviously calls Derek a liar. And the thing she says to him here, "Liar, liar, how do you walk with your pants on fire?"
It's such a lame thing to say.
Shite. She's trying to be such a badass, and she's just
And
like,
she's not. It's so bad. It's like,
I hear that now, and I think of the thing Patrick says in SpongeBob.
what did he say?
It's like, lawyer, lawyer, pants for hire, or something like that. And then SpongeBob's like, it's pants on fire, Patrick. He's like, well, you would
Oh
know.
god. I hate shows sometimes, but that's like one of the lamest things Casey has ever said on the show. How do you?
And that's saying something. How do you walk with your pants
It's
on
so
fire?
bad.
I don't know, Casey. Let us know. You're the one with the pants on fire.
Ooh.
So Derek then insists. He's like, no, like, why would I be doing a project a week beforehand? And Edwin's like, yeah, he never gives me that much time in advance. Casey then looks at Derek, and Derek looks back at Casey. And this moment is also used in a lot of fan vids.
Of course it is. They're looking at each other. Why wouldn't it be?
Because it looks way too dramatic than it should be for talking about homework.
Oh goodness.
And then Casey runs to her room really quickly, looks at her calendar and planner and online to find out that she did get the date wrong.
What
Oh
made
my
me
god.
laugh though is how she like looked through three different things and then looks on the computer, and I was like, did they have online planners back then? Did they
I don't
have
know if it's an
Google?
online planner, but maybe like her teacher had the due date online.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Because my high school teachers used to do that. Like they would have all the due dates put online. So
Did they have like that in the 2005s though?
yeah, I was in high school in like 2006, 2007. This is around that
I
time.
guess I do recall like in English, my teacher made us use a site, and then she had like assignments on there, and and you had to like post it to there, and I'm having
Well, we
Vietnam
didn't have to
flashbacks.
post it to there, but they just had all of, like our homework assignments on there in case we forgot or in case we weren't at school that day.
I'm
So,
having Vietnam flashbacks from grade 9 English. God.
but Casey looks through all her stuff and she finds out that yeah, it's due tomorrow and she hasn't done anything for it. I'm actually surprised she didn't start it yet though.
Yeah, same, because isn't she like 2 weeks in advance? Like ready for anything?
It's freaking liar.
Fuck! We're cracking the code.
Yes. She likes to stretch the truth.
Oh my god, I can't handle this. I'm finding out on you, Kate. I'm finding
But
out.
yeah, like she seems like someone who would start at least like she would have half of it done by now.
Mm-hmm.
And so like over the next week she would have like finished the next half. Like she seems like someone who would space things out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very like wow, she hasn't done anything for it yet.
She's such a piece of poo.
So then Derek appears at her door as she's having like a meltdown to tell her to never call him responsible again because that could hurt his rep if it got out. So, we're back in the living room with George and Marty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
George asks Marty what a lie is, and Marty replies with the thing that grown-ups get to do.
True that.
and, and George says, no, no one can lie. But Marty brings up a bunch of instances where he did lie. I
Is
think,
this
like, again, his car got hit, but he, like,
he scratched it?
pretended that it didn't
Yeah.
know how. Or, like, yeah.
Which I think George should never drive again.
Well, this is again an instance. This is another thing that they've actually kept consistent throughout the series that George is a terrible driver.
Wild.
So, but and then George is like, "Well, sometimes adults lie, but kids can't." And then Marty calls him out on that bullshit, and he tries to play it cool. Like, "Oh, so you do know what a lie is? I was just trying to. No, I was just trying to test you." And she like just looks at him and she's like, no.
God.
So George promises he's not going to lie to anyone anymore.
That's not happening. He'll lie. We know it.
So Casey is up late trying to finish her project. She's messing up making a model of the solar system. And in anger, she throws the planet pieces at the wall that she shares with
I'm
Derek.
confused. What was the class?
Science.
I thought it was geography.
I don't think so.
No, isn't that next? That's the next project Edwin has to do for him is geography, right? Maybe that's why I got it screwed up.
Maybe. I guess it's a very general science
Because I was
class.
like, geography, why are you doing planets, you dumb bitch?
It's a very um the geography of
Oh
space.
god. This ain't Mass Effect. Get out of here.
so so yeah, so she throws these like planet pieces at the wall. Derek comes in after the hearing the commotion. He's just like, "What's going on?" And Casey's complaining that she's going to fail the project. So he tells Casey to just hand it in late. Casey says she's never handed in anything
Have
late.
you ever done it?
I'm trying to think. I haven't done things. I remember one time I completely just didn't hand in a
Mm-hmm.
project. I had been absent a lot, so I was just like, well, you know what? She never asked me for it, so I'm just not
Oh
gonna do
wow.
it.
What a slacker.
And so you can, and then she just gave me a zero, so I didn't do it, and I ended up like failing that class.
Such a slacker.
I got a D. I got a D in that class for that quarter.
Jeez. I remember, like, I was just a horrible student. I would remember that we'd be like, we have our like English workbook, and they'd be like, "Hey, you got to finish this chapter in the English workbook," and everyone's like, "Yeah, okay," and then I'm like, "Yep," and I just like leave to go home and leave the book in my desk. And then my mom, for some reason, I didn't know this was happening, but she had like parent teacher that day, and then she comes home with the workbook. she's like, she's like, "You forgot something," and I was like, "Oh no, oh no." And that was like in grade 6. I'm a very bad student.
Yeah, I was like randomly just like really bad in like grade
I
seven.
was just bad my whole high school and
That was
elementary
well,
school.
actually that was grade six too when that happened when I didn't hand in a project. But in grade seven, I actually like talked back to a
Ooh,
teacher and everything like that.
ooh, talked back to teacher.
I feel really bad about it now because like she was such a sweet like
Oh
lady,
my god.
but I feel like because she was a sweet lady, she let us get away with a lot of
Oh my
stuff.
god.
And so she tried to pair us up in groups, and I didn't like the groups. So I'm like, no, I'm not going
Oh
over
wow.
there. And she's like, Ashley, please. And I'm like, no, I don't feel like
You're a
going over
brat.
there. I don't want to do this
You're such
project.
a brat.
I know. I don't know what was in me. I just, I don't know.
A demon, that's what was in you.
Casey was in.
Casey. I'm trying to think. I remember like having horrible teachers. We had one teacher we called the vulture because she would just circle the class to see if everyone was doing their work. So we called her the vulture. We actually made her quit teaching.
Oh my god.
Yeah. She had like a mental breakdown.
Oh my god. What
And
the hell did you guys do to her?
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember one time she asked for if anyone had whiteout, and one of the girls said, "I do," and instead of getting up and giving it to her, she just chucked it at her and like smoked her in the face with it. I was like, "Oh no!" I was like laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh my god, we're horrible."
Oh my
It was so
god.
bad. And it's always the English teachers I have issues with, apparently. Like, in grade 9, I had a teacher in a different school, and she would always make assumptions. Always. She'd be like, "Vanessa, get off Facebook." And I was like, "Why are you making an assumption that I'm on Facebook?" Like, why are you making assumptions? And I was on Facebook, but calling her. And then
You're
we
such a
had like,
bitch.
I know, and then like everyone around me was like, "Yeah, Miss Clavell, why are you making assumptions?"
Oh my gosh.
And I think she cried.
Terrible.
I don't know.
Terrible.
I'm not a terrible person, but that was just like I hated her. I hated her.
So, anyway, Casey says she's never handed in anything late, which I believe, but Derek tells her to just make up a lie to get an extension. And Casey's a great idea, and then I'll rob a bank and mug an old lady.
Oh my
Even
god.
Derek says it. He's like, that's just like such a freaking extreme. Like, yes, lie to get an extension, and then yes, that completely is the same thing as robbing an old lady and robbing a bank.
It is 100%.
Like, I don't see the difference.
Oh man.
I guess in her view, it is the same.
It is.
Just because.
It really is.
Oh
Mugging.
man.
Mugging an old woman. Okay.
But he said he'd write her in jail.
Yeah. Can you imagine Casey in jail? Okay.
I could just see them like
Jail AU.
Derek, he just like he comes visit her just to like rub it in that she's the one behind bars.
Most likely.
So how's prison? How's the food?
To drop the soap.
Yeah. So the next morning, Casey comes downstairs looking like a wild woman. Her hair's all over the place. And she asks Derek about this lying concept of his. And she's like, are there rules? Are there proper lying etiquette? And Derek tells her that her hair is looking great this morning. And Casey's like, really?
She's such a dumb hoe.
And then Derek's like, no, that was a lie. But it sounded natural, though. And he's like, because he had very many years of experience. Though, especially last season, he was terrible.
He went through some personal growth, and he's amazing now.
Okay. Uh-huh. Because, especially for that party episode, the dad was like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh, I have some friends over studying. Not sounding convincing at all, but also he's not being realistic at all, which is one of his like rules that he brings up, that a lie has to be realistic. Derek tells her that she has to start learning to lie about stupid stuff first. Like, he tells people he's seen a movie no matter if he did or didn't. He tells Casey that she does lie, though, but they're the little girly white lies.
Alright, so when she lied to Nora about liking a mini skirt, Casey said it was charity. She then told Marty that there were little mice in her stomach that wanted to eat green beans. And she says that one was creative. But to be fair, it was, because if you're trying to eat her make her like healthier, tell her that there's little mice that need green beans in her tummy. So that is smart. Therefore, she has truth-bending talent, and he thinks that she should use it on their teacher. Which, I don't agree with that. Don't lie. Lying's bad, kids. Be cool, stay in school, don't do drugs.
Well, again, but if she's making excuses for these lies, but she says she's never lied, then what are her excuses for the other lies she's told?
Because that's totally believable.
This is where he comes up with saying, like, lies need to be realistic. Because he then warns her that the last kid who turned in something late to the teacher, they had to run around the school naked.
Because that's totally believable.
Which, yeah, like, that wouldn't happen, so...
I disagree.
You know.
It's totally possible.
Not that the teacher told you to do it.
I'm pretty sure they'd be like...
Yeah, some random ass kid might want to, like, run around the school naked as a prank, but I don't think the teacher would be like, now you have to go around the school naked.
I'm pretty sure the teacher would be, like, fired for being a pedo for doing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
So, now we're at school and in Casey's science class. She's waiting to talk to her teacher. There's a kid in front of her. And this kid essentially told the teacher that he had been abducted by mind-wiping Martians.
Believable.
Totally believable.
I believe it.
Like,
have you not watched Ancient Aliens? Shit can be possible.
Right, but I doubt a teacher's going to believe it.
What if they're dumb?
But anyway, so Casey sees that the teacher gave the last kid an F. So because she's so overcome by the anxiety of failing, she decides to lie.
Well, that was the point either way, so... Oh.
She says that she has a dog, after seeing that the teacher has a picture of one on her desk.
It's a beautiful dog, by the way. A Burmese
Yeah.
mountain dog is beautiful.
So Casey's like, my dog, Bob, and he's real, really sick.
Bob is such a horrible name for a dog.
It is. It really is. Like, ugh. I just can't imagine ever looking at a dog and be like, Bob.
That's Bob.
I hate Bob. I hate the name Bob in general.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like too many people in this world are named Bob, and we need to cut it
Okay, I
out.
need you to stop hating on Bob Saget.
Danny Tanner.
Bob Saget.
So yeah, so apparently she couldn't do her assignment because she had to take care of Bob. But now I'm wondering just how much time they were given for this assignment, because I still don't think this is a good excuse.
No, it isn't. It is not a good excuse.
No, because, like, yeah, your dog's sick and you have to take care of him, but, like, there's no downtime in that for maybe, like, the 2 weeks that you had to do it.
Yeah.
Like, or even longer, depending on what the project was. So it's like, it's not a good excuse. But the teacher tells her to take as long as she wants on the assignment. So it's like a whim. In the hallway, after the class, I guess, Derek sees Casey and he goes up to her. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? Our dear dog, Bob, is sick.
But here's the thing. How... What did the teacher just go around and be like, guys, Casey's dog, Bob, is sick. Oh my god. Guys, Bob. Like, I don't understand how, like, Derek would know.
Maybe he had, like, they could have different classes that Derek and Casey are in, because obviously they're taking the same class, but I guess not at the same time. So maybe when Derek went in, she gave her condolences to Derek.
Oh, maybe. That makes sense, yeah.
And she'd be like, oh, Derek, I heard about Bob. And he's like, who the freak is Bob?
He's like, yes, Bob.
And she's like, but she's probably, like, so impressed with Derek because he managed to finish his project.
Maybe he's just like, yes, Bob Marley is dead. I agree, it is sad. No, your dog Bob, yes. That's what I call him, Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, McDonald
Yeah,
and Cherry.
that's
his name. So yeah, so he says this all dramatically while, like, half hugging, holding her in a totally platonic, non-romantic way.
Totally, yeah.
That's what he's doing. So Derek celebrates her lie, calling her a natural-born liar, which is probably, like, the highest compliment
Also
he can
a good
give.
compliment for a serial killer. So Casey's, like, relishing the spotlight right now. She's like, yes, I can keep this ruse going.
And Casey insists it's the first and last lie of her career.
Stop lying.
Sure, Casey. She has to get out of it, though. Derek tells her that she either has to tell the teacher she lied, or she has to kill Bob.
So what does she do? She kills Bob Marley.
So Casey goes back to the science classroom, and she tells her teacher that Bob died. And she really does put on a convincing act. Like, she fake sobs, and the teacher hugs her. Like, she did a really good job on, like, selling that lie. Which, again, how can she, like, cry so well, Vanessa?
Let me tell you.
If she's never lied before.
There's this show called Dexter, and it's all about a guy who's, like, a psychopath and a serial killer, and he fakes human emotions, and Casey is doing that right now. This is another place for my TED Talk. Like, oh man, Casey's so good at convincing people she has real human emotions that people believe her.
So then, while this is happening, Emily comes in the classroom, and she's beyond confused about, like, why Casey's crying and the teacher's hugging her. And she comes up, and Casey's kind of like, help me, get out of this. So she comes to Casey's rescue, good friend. And Casey, Emily's like, well, I think, I should probably take Casey, so she can settle down. And Casey looks at Emily. She's like, now that Bob is gone, you truly are my best friend.
Oh my god, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
So after they leave the classroom, Emily's like, "Why were you crying? And who is Bob?"
Bob Marley.
Yeah. Then Casey explains the whole thing to Emily. But like literally right after this, the teacher just goes up to the hallway
Yeah.
again to like meet up with them. And Casey has to pretend like she's
Yeah.
still like upset over everything. And she's like, she tells Casey that she could just forget about the
Oh
project, which I
yeah.
think is a red flag right there. Just forget about the project, and that she can instead write an essay about
Ugh.
Bob.
I wrote
So
an
okay, she
essay
has to write an
about my
essay.
dog.
So at the house,
Yeah. It was so
oh
sad
yeah,
because she died in grade 3. And I was in grade 4 writing about her, and it was so
hmm,
sad. So sad. Because I remember
yeah.
going to school in grade 3, and my dog was alive. She was a Shetland sheepdog, so it was a small little sheepdog. And then come back to school, and for whatever reason, the dog's not there, and we don't notice. And then I'm watching Pokemon, and it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and my mom like turns the TV off, and she's like, "Guys, I have something to tell you." She's like, "Duchess is," and then you just have me go, "Dad!" And then they're like, "Yeah, did you know?" And I'm like, "She's not here." It was it was very sad. I don't
Oh
even know what
gosh.
she died of, but I know like she pretty much like drowned in her own lungs. It was sad.
Uh,
Yeah, like my parents came back from like work and she was just like in a puddle of like lung mucus.
oh,
Mm, I cry.
because my first dog died. She like
Oh.
basically in her sleep, and my mom and dad think that she probably had cancer because
Mm-hmm.
her health was declining in the
Mm-hmm.
last few months we had her. And then, like, my parents even told us, like, after the fact that they were thinking about
Mm-hmm.
putting her down to sleep, like, right after her birthday, which was on, like, June 21st. And June 13th, she died.
Oh.
So, but
How old
yeah,
was she?
huh?
How old?
She was 12. She's about to turn
Okay.
13. She was almost 13 years old.
Yeah, mine was 13.
So yeah, but yeah, and it was weird. Like, it's like she knew, so she, like, made sure she had time with, like, all of us, kind of in a way,
So sad.
before she passed that morning. And then my second dog, who just died, she had cancer, and she is just getting to the point that she wasn't living a very productive life, so we had to put her down.
So sad.
Hmm.
My dog died of cancer too. It was
No,
so
they
sad.
all like die of cancer in some way.
Was your what was yours again? Lung cancer?
No, it was
No, mine was lung cancer the same time.
lymphoma.
Yeah, mine was lung cancer, so I was like, the cry.
So it was hitting her nodes,
Her
like all of the
nodes?
nodes, her nodes.
Oh my god, the nodes!
Nodes, nodes.
This is like some pitch perfect shit. My nodes!
So,
It's because of the
but
nodes.
they were really swelling up really big, and
It's so sad. This
so,
is
but
why,
yeah.
Casey, you're not convincing because it's so sad for us, and it's been like 80 years since our dogs have died, and we still cry.
It's insane. Oh my god, yeah. If I think about because the other dog, my second dog, she died like 4 months ago.
It's sad. Mine was like in 2013, and I still cry when I think about
Oh
it.
yeah, me too. Like my other one died in 2009.
Mm,
Yeah, 2009. And I swear to you, if I think about it for too long, I start crying
I feel that, fam.
because I just miss them.
I'm
So,
in tears right now. So
oh,
sad.
it is. They really are your best
It's
friend.
true. Don't do this to me. I'm gonna cry.
Okay. So, at the house, Casey is trying to write this essay about Bob. Okay, so yeah, so she's writing about this, and she was like, Your dog was a great. The dog
Your
was a
dog
great
was a great
dog.
dog, yeah. He was a dog's dog.
Bob was a great dog. He was the dog of all dogs. Like she's just like saying complete nonsense, and she's getting frustrated because she's not able to write it because obviously she's never had a freaking dog,
Yeah.
let alone a dog named Bob. So
Oh, Bob.
Lizzie comes in, good old Lizzie,
You're such a good
and she's
sister,
like,
Lizzie.
"Yes, what's the matter?" And Casey complains some more, even saying she doesn't even like dogs. That they slobber on everything, they sniff their privates in public.
Oh, man.
And I find this especially funny because Ashley seems to love dogs.
Yeah.
And she has two of her own right now.
Those are
So
like
it's just
not real dogs. They're like Kleenex box with fangs.
the little rats.
Yeah, they are. I hate small dogs.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of small dogs either. Like, all my dogs that I've had are pretty much like medium. Like, they come up to like my knee kind of like height.
Big dogs.
They're not that big. Like, I can hold them. So that to me considered is not that big of a dog.
True.
So, but Lizzie asks her what is she gonna do, and she says she has to consult with the Lord of the Lies.
Is that some Lord of the Flies thing?
So Casey goes to the kitchen where Derek is, and she tells him that he got her into this mess and he has to help her get out of it. Which, no, he offered advice and you took it, Casey. He didn't tell her she had to, but she went along with it and she put herself in this situation. You can't deflect fault. So then Edwin tells Casey that Derek doesn't do well with that approach. So then Casey tells Derek that he's the guru of the sacred art of deceit. And you, and only you, can help me in my hour of
I
need.
hate this show so much.
And he tells her that he'll help her with like the stupidest grin on his face as he does.
Ugh, he's getting a kick out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And she has to provide financial support for Edwin to do his history project. So, in Derek's room now, they are searching for a dog that could be Bob. So Derek tells Edwin to download, like, they're going through this like book.
And they're in the doodles.
I don't know why they randomly have a book of like dog breeds.
Yeah, I know. I actually used to have one. I used to have one.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
And it was like massive, and it went from like A to Z, and I was like, oh my god, it was like ridiculous. So I know exactly.
So Derek tells Edwin to download a schnoodle dog picture from the internet. I didn't even know that was a legit dog
Yeah,
breed.
it's like a Shih Tzu and the poodle.
No, I had
I'm
no
gonna
idea.
Google though, but I'm gonna be sure. I think it is.
No, it is. I looked it up, but like there was like a noodle.
That's not
something
not a
else
real
with
thing.
Yeah. They were just saying like all the noodles, and I was like, "Is that even like a real thing?" And then I looked it up. It's like, yes,
It's
it
like
is a real thing.
poodle,
Like,
doodle, noodle.
I know poodle, I know Shih Tzu. I just didn't know like the crossbreed was just
It's
shoodle,
so funny. They're like, download a
schnoodle, whatever the hell it is.
I was like, what the fuck are you gonna do by downloading a schnoodle?
So anyway, so Edwin basically photoshopped the dog next to a picture of Casey like on the stairs, but the dog is the size of a horse. And Edwin tries again, and this time, you know, it's a bit smaller. And Derek said that this one is the size of a rat. But I honestly think that was a good
I did
size.
too. I thought it was like a legit size for that type of dog.
Yeah, like for that type of dog. Because the next one they do, which Derek claims is good, still looks too big for that kind of
True.
breed. Like I don't know, but anyway, because like I feel like the second picture looked more legit. Like it didn't look as fake, where the second one still looked really fake. I mean, the third one looked really fake. So whatever. Derek's obviously doesn't have a good eye.
No.
So they print out that picture, and Derek had printed out sappy dog stories for Casey to look through to get inspiration to write her own, which is actually very thoughtful. He went through and looked through a bunch of dog stories to give to Casey. And why didn't Casey just try to do that too? Like, it just... Casey doesn't know how to bullshit Homer.
Yeah.
Marty comes in and she sees the picture of Casey with the dog and she asks about it. And, she's like, oh, I want to see the dog. But Casey tells her it died. And of course, Marty gets upset that the dog had
Mm-hmm.
died. And Casey tells her that it's just pretend he was dead to be funny. How the hell is that funny?
To a serial killer, it's funny.
Obviously. And then we have to watch out for Marty then too.
Yeah. We're uncovering everything.
because they tell Marty, oh, we were just pretending it died to be funny. And then Marty's like, oh, that is
God.
funny.
This whole family is full of serial killers.
That's all that Nora and George can breed, serial killers.
Yeah.
Maybe Lizzie will be
Maybe
okay.
Lizzie and Edwin will be okay. But no, Ed.
The second childs are
Ed's
exception.
A pervert, so
well, yeah,
he's like
that's
a
the
rapist
different.
in the making.
They're all gonna end up in prison some way somehow. Lizzie with her activism. Oh boy, this family. So next day, Casey comes home only to see that her teacher had been waiting for her in the living room with her own dog. And Derek comes in and he sees that the teacher is there. And he tells her, the cardinal rule is to never bring the lie home. What did you do? So Derek starts, hyperventilating and directs Casey to talk to the teacher while he figures what to do. So Casey goes to speak to the teacher, and she said she was so moved by Casey's essay that she had to come over to surprise her that her dog is having puppies and she wants to offer Casey one.
I would take it.
But also, one, I don't know how, because, again, we just said, we don't really like small dogs.
It's a Burmese. It's massive. I love it.
But I'm just saying, but we're saying that we don't like small dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Casey originally had a small dog. Usually people who like small dogs continue to get small dogs.
You know what? Casey's just crazy. She doesn't know what's up, so take the dog.
But anyway, I'm just saying, but with the teacher, I would just never assume that I would want to go from having a dog that, can fit in a purse to having a dog that's as big as a freaking horse. So,
yeah.
The puppies of this dog would be as big as her adult dog. But anyway, Casey goes back into the kitchen to find Derek's pacing the kitchen and eating. He's eating in the hopes it will jumpstart his brain to think of a lie. And Casey is asking Derek what to do, but he says this is uncharted territory and he doesn't know. Because he's never had a lie, blow up this badly, I guess. Yeah. Or get this complicated. So the teacher then asked if they still have Bob's water bowl. So she takes the bowl Derek was eating chips out of and fills it up with water. And when she comes back in with the water, the teacher asks if she has any of Bob's old toys around.
That's just mean.
I know. And, even if I did have the toys around, I'd be like, well, I don't want another dog's, slobber all over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel even weird about, using my old dog's toys for, my dog now. It's just, that was his. That, they're separate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then Casey tells her that they bury them all with him so he could play with them in doggy heaven.
So...
Which is a good cover-up.
It is, but it sounds like the dog's Egyptian, and it was, mummificationing, and they, bury all the treasures with them.
You bury him with 50 tennis balls.
Yeah, it sounds
so that he has 50 tennis balls in the afterlife.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
The only toys they get are the ones they get buried with.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is creepy. Egyptian shit.
This is when Nora comes in and she's all confused. They have introductions and then she's like, oh, I'm their teacher. And Nora's like, oh, what did Derek do? And the teacher said that Derek actually did a great science project.
That's your first clue.
Yeah, but that she actually is here because of Casey, because Casey's been so distressed about Bob dying. So in a roundabout way, Casey is telling her mom about the situation while also trying to not let on that she's lying And Nora decides to roll with it right now, and she tells the teacher that they are just not ready for another dog right now.
Jesus.
And then George and Marty then come in. And again, after introductions, George asks, "What did Derek do?"
It's always Derek.
I know. How many teachers come to their house and just is like, Derek?
Yo, have you ever had a teacher that said they were like, I'm gonna call your parents kind of thing?
No, because I was a good kid.
No, like in your like do you hear them say that to like any kid in your class?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I had a guy in my class where the teacher's like, I'm gonna call your parents after school and tell them what you've done or something like that. And the kid got so scared he got home and yanked all the phones out of the wall. So they couldn't get called. So he like ripped them all out of the sockets, like the phone plugs and everything, so there's no connection.
Oh, God. Well, that's
Yeah,
one way to get around it.
yeah, and he's like, we're like, what happened? Did he call? And he's like, no, I ripped all the phones out of the wall.
Oh, my gosh.
We're like, oh my god.
It's a little trickier nowadays because they most likely would call you like the cell phone, but
Exactly. It was so funny though. 90s kids will remember.
90s kids will remember. George asked like, what did Derek do? But then Nora explains that their dog Bob dying had prevented Casey from doing her project. Again, telling him in a way that kind of doesn't blow their cover. And George's like, oh, yes, right, yes. And then this is where Marty spills the beans.
God dang it, Marty.
Because she was like, it's pretend.
Marty's horrible. How could she do this to us?
Casey owns up and she tells the truth. And the teacher admits that she had her suspicions and her dog is actually a boy dog and can't even get pregnant. So and then it cuts to Derek in the kitchen trying to psych himself up. He was like, "You're born to lie. You were the lord of the lie." And so he goes into the living room and he starts off by saying that he just finished Bob's eulogy.
Yeah. Derek's the worst. I love it.
And then he fake notices that their teacher is there and he asks if she's there to pay her respects.
You know what though?
What?
Like, he came up with all this shit, and he could have, like, flipped this on Casey so badly, but he played along with it and was like, I'm gonna look out for you.
Exactly. And I think it has nothing to do with the fact that she paid Edwin. Because, like, she already paid Edwin. It's not like, you know...
He needs to follow suit kind of thing and do his end of the deal. That's not how Derek is, but he legit was like, I'm looking after you, man. And I was like, ah!
That's couple goals right there.
Couple goals.
Relationship goals.
These serial killers like Derek and Casey.
The couple that can lie together, they're gold.
Oh my god, I hate it.
But Casey admits that the gig is up, and that's exactly when Edwin comes home. And not realizing that the teacher is there, he asks Derek if the teacher liked the project he made him.
So bad.
Yeah. So the teacher is like, oh.
Ow.
So, you know, Nora and George, they're like, hey, why don't you stay for dinner because our kids are shitty?
Yeah, pretty much.
And she was like, sure.
Yeah.
So if I was her, I'd been like, listen, I am getting out of here.
They're like, peace, bye. I'm going to Smelly Nelly's.
So after dinner, Derek and Casey are saying goodnight to their teacher. And she tells Casey that there's no hard feelings since she found it entertaining, but she will be giving her an F. So of course Casey has a heart attack. She freaks out and she says she's never gotten an F before. And the teacher's like, well, Derek can help you through the pain since he's also getting an F. My mind goes right to the gutter with this one. It was like, Derek can help you through the pain. Like, he can comfort her, you know what I mean?
No.
But because she had a nice dinner, and that at least Casey seems genuinely, like, upset, she's going to let them make up their assignment together. And once the teacher leaves, Derek tells Casey just to wake him up when she's done. But of course, Casey's like following him all the way up the stairs, be like, "Nah, Derek, nah."
Yeah, no, she like legit loses her mind. It's like,
So
no,
yeah,
you're doing
that
this too. And he's
was
like, well, I'm gonna take a nap. That nap is still sleeping. It's
so
good.
yeah, that was the end of that episode. I generally like this episode just because it's so like stupid yet funny, and it's just interesting to see how far they were both willing to go and how Derek was like very helpful.
Do you know what my favorite part of it was?
What?
Was Derek having a panic attack in the kitchen eating chips.
I know, because it's like you never see Derek like worrying over anything.
It's
So the
true. It's
fact that
so
he's like
funny.
starting to like, oh my god, like it's not even his lie.
Yeah.
It's Casey's lie. Like he was no way involved really in it.
Hmm.
So for him to be so like paranoid over this, and he's just like nervously eating and like, oh my god, that was good. So, is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know. Like, what is there to say? I want to reach out to my fans.
The
My fans, the Vanessa fans.
Vanessa fan.
The Vanessa fans. I want to say thank you for your support. You were the true MVPs. You enjoy my
Uh,
stupidity and you the true MVPs.
oh, someone on Tumblr though brought up that we should also maybe look over some of the behind the scenes stuff and react to that.
That could be an episode to do.
So yeah, so that could like that's an idea for another episode when we don't want to necessarily do a whole.
Episode.
We could actually do like season 1 stuff, season 2 stuff, like
We could.
because some of that stuff's online. So
It's true.
yeah, just so that we're not always doing just like regular episodes, but
That true, that true.
so that's good. Again, if you have any other like other video ideas that aren't just like episode reviews, let us know in the comic sections or tweet us at on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Oopsy Daisy Pod. You can send us a message on Tumblr at daisy.tumblr.com, or you can leave a comment in the YouTube section.
Or you can leave us a
A
review
voice message
and a voice message. Thank
on
you.
Anchor.
Yo, I'm gonna
We still
commit.
have never gotten one.
I'm gonna cry. Like straight up. I hope you guys like my tears. Because I will cry. But yeah, rate, review, give us 5 stars, all that jazz. Go Vanessa fans. I hope I have more fans than you have fans.
Why is this a competition?
Because I know you're the cool one and I'm not.
How the hell am I the cool one?
I don't know. I just decided, but I hope I have more fans than you.
I think you're funnier
Thank
and that
you.
you're cooler.
Thank you. And then
Mm-hmm.
on that note, we're gonna end because I'm cooler and funnier.
Okay, that's it for today. Bye bye.
Peace.